So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
Nice. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
So, I want to talk about bad parenting. Bad parenting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I had a patient and she was 104 years old. That's old. 104.
Then you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Yeah, man, when you're 104, you don't buy Christmas presents and birthday presents for everybody else. They buy them for you.
You should be able, sorry to say that, but you should be able to smoke pot.
Yeah, if you want to.
And
get
buy
after
strippers.
It. Yeah, whatever.
And eat cake.
Yeah, eat your, whatever cake you
want.
You
104, you're allowed.
Yeah, you do what you want, right? We're talking 104. So this lady, she was living at home basically by herself because... Of course, her husband wasn't there, and you know, her daughter's quite adult and old, and she had lots of kids and all that, and not just daughter, but the daughter that lived next door would pop in once in a while. But she hurt her back fixing her garden. Okay, so she's out in the garden, and she thought, I'm 102. I hurt my back working in my garden. I think I'm going to go to a chiropractor, right? So, and you have to understand that 104 years ago, when this lady was born, was 102 years at that point. Yeah. You know, there weren't any chiropractors in Norway.
Well, and if they were, you were what's the name?
You were a witch doctor.
A witch doctor, a quacksalver.
Yeah, a quack.
Yes.
Yeah, but man, 102 years ago. So she decides, I'm 102 years old. I heard about this chiropractic stuff. There's this guy downtown. His name's Jason.
Jason Shields, sitting here now.
Yep. I'm going to go to that guy. I heard he's good. So...
Which she is.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Talking to the patient.
Yeah. And...
hidden commercials. Not hidden anymore.
This is a paid promotion for... Yeah. Exactly.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway. So she's 102. She comes to the chiropractor and she gets adjusted, right? And she feels better. And she comes in and she's like, wow. And I was like, what? Because, you know, she had some reflections. Like I asked her, for example... What is it that you like best in your life? And she's like, you really want to know, or you're just asking? And I'm like, I really want to know. What's the thing you like the most? And she said, getting a little bit sick. I'm like, what?
Do you get a little bit sick like when you're over 100?
Yeah, right.
Don't you get not sick or extremely sick?
Right. But I'm like, just a little bit sick. She says, yeah, because, you know, when you get to be like 50, 60, 70, you've had all the cakes and you've had all the cookies and you've had all the coffee and you've done all this stuff. And, you know, you just don't get the same kind of pleasure from it that you used to. But then you get sick and you know it's going to get better. And it's, you know, you can't eat food because it just tastes horrible. And you can't drink your coffee because it just tastes horrible because you're sick. And you feel horrible everywhere and your body hurts extra everywhere. And you know what? Then you get well. And when you get well, everything tastes fantastic again. You feel great. Even if you don't feel super good compared to when you were 20, you feel a lot better than you did just like a day ago when you had fever, right? And at that
point,
it's amazing. So the little bit of perspective change. But she came in and she's like, you know what, Jason? I'm like, what? I was at a big party. And you know the party? I counted the number of people who came directly from me. And I said, well, how many were there? 64. 64 people from the same purpose. Because she had a bunch of kids and they had, you know, children and, you know, and they had like...
They had their children.
They had their children,
64,
you know.
up there.
And, you know, back in the day, like when she was 20, if you think about it, 102 years ago, you had big families. And then even her daughter had a big family, you know, like daughters and sons. But, you know, they were like 2 or 3 generations where they were having 7+ kids.
Yes.
And then they have kids on top of that. And
yeah,
then,
my
of
grandma's,
course,
I think that was my grandma's generation.
yeah, exactly.
So that would be her 3rd generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be, my grandma would have been hers.
Grandchild.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
That's
right?
correct.
Then you know how old this lady is. And she's like 64 of them. And she said, I never have to wonder whether I did a good job on this planet or not. I looked at all those beautiful people and I'm like, that's my mark. That's my monument for having been here. And I'm like, man, Ragnar, you are amazing. Yes, that's a monument and God bless you. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, and you think you get to a point where you ask yourself, did you do a good job? You know, you look back at your life, and men never have the opportunity to look back like she did, you know, because
No, it's different.
it's different, right? It's, you know, the mother always knows that the baby's theirs, but the dad, yeah, do they know plus minus?
And they know, but
yeah.
you came out of my hoo-ha.
Yeah, well, that's
So you're
it.
mine.
Yeah, exactly.
kind of.
Like, you know, it doesn't matter who the father was.
And it doesn't, and that's
'Cause-
also why then you can see they came from me, because they literally came out of you.
Yeah, directly.
The dad
Like,
had maybe 10 seconds of something, maybe
Yes.
2 minutes if you know, you never know.
exactly.
Should be longer.
Should
Anyways,
be longer, but there's
but-
a reason why cowboys wear cowboy hats, because
Yes.
they last 8 seconds and they're gone. Yeah,
yes,
like
something, yeah. Anyway,
that's a rodeo reference. If you don't understand that one, watch a rodeo and you'll see why.
do that. Well, she knows.
Yes, she knows, right? She knows the kids are hers, and the whole point is also you deal with humanity in all of its colors and all of its spectrums. And you look at how people take the challenge of being a parent. You know, it's like some people want to live their own life and be their own person, and then they have a kid. Some people just live for and in that kid's life and just want to be that, you know, and there's a balance in all of these things, right? You know, it's like when you are female, having the baby is so much more personal.
I would imagine.
Yes. And also your involvement in the first year or 2 is so much more personal because your body's not even yours. Your body's literally the baby's. You know, it's interesting. You know, women talk about getting their body back after the pregnancy. And that's really not even possible until the baby's kind of finished with doing what it's doing. You know, it may change shape. Your body may be more functional again after the pregnancy and the birth and all that. And you find your muscle mass again and everything changes and looks similar, but you know, you're still your sleep's being owned by the baby's feeding schedule is being owned. You know, it's really interesting, right? And then you see how some mothers are able to, in a way, function and at the same time be that perfect mom. And perfect doesn't mean that you follow a book or follow other people's expectations of you.
Oh, not far from it. Perfect means just being a perfect mom.
Yeah.
It's not any more label on it than you're actually being a mom.
Yeah, you're finding, taking care of the baby and taking care of yourself and finding some harmony.
And finding out what being the perfect mom means to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Although you have some box you kind of need to check, feed it, and I don't know. I'm not a mom yet. I'm a doggy mom. So
You're doggy mom. Yeah, it's different.
Feed
It's different. Yeah, you feed the doggy.
I'm gonna
you
get
take
them
it for a
the
walk. Yeah,
mama gorilla on, you know.
yeah, exactly.
You need to do more than feed it.
Yeah,
And it's not an it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi.
You're not gonna make your baby chew bones? Come on.
No, that I would say then you're done checking off the right box.
Yeah, exactly.
If he steals the dog's bone,
yeah,
made different. But if you give your baby a chewing bone, is nah.
yeah, probably wrong direction.
Yeah, don't
to
do
go.
that.
But we watched this movie.
Oh yeah, and if you have it's not a big spoiler.
No,
If you haven't watched it, because it doesn't affect the movie at all. But that was some bad parenting.
there's some bad parenting. Now it was based on
Hamlet.
Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet, right?
Yeah, it's the Viking version of Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Yeah, and there's
and it's
some...
calling it the Northmen. The Northmen.
Yeah, the Northmen.
Northmen.
Yeah, the
It's in
Northmen.
the movies now. Super violent, and I'm not gonna give you spoilers, but it's super violent. It's pretty good, ish. And at one point, I was watching it with Jason and my husband, and Jason just leans over and he goes, "That's bad parenting."
Yeah, and I think I had to do that 3 times.
Yeah, because it just increased.
Yeah.
The level of bad parenting increased.
It was fucked up.
And if you watched Hamlet, you also understand what we're talking about.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
some bad parenting going on.
Yes, and if you haven't read through Hamlet, get the movie, whatever. Read the Shakespearean play. Do yourself a favor and check it out, because it's a classic, and it's really interesting how the perspective of the main character changed, because he experienced things as in one way when he was a child. He experienced his mother's relationship with the father, experienced a certain thing with the uncle and the whole thing, and then
of course his own relationships to the mom.
Yes, was a certain way.
When you're a kid, you looked at your mom as something, and then you grew up and you realize they're human beings.
They're human beings, and what the heck kind of bad parenting was that?
That was bad parenting.
There's when they both try to seduce you and murder you. It's not a good start. No. But anyway, you could check out that movie if you want to see bad parenting. You want to wonder if you're checking off a box about being a perfect mom or not. You do any of the things she did, you're not checking that box off.
No, she's not a good mom.
No.
It's horrible.
But 102, the last time I saw her, she was 104. I moved to Wolfsbergen, and I transferred her to one of my colleagues. Now, this is a weird thing, and this is something that's really important to kind of understand. That is that, being lucky or unlucky, it is what it is. You can get all upset about the fact that you were unlucky or things didn't go your way, but things are what they are.
You can't change the past.
You can't change the past. You can't change the shit that just happened. You can just respond to it, not react, respond to it.
So your car get bumped. You have now a dent in your car. You can't kind of go back 1 minute and not get that dent. It has happened.
Exactly. And to hate yourself for it and be angry at yourself for it and be angry at the other person for it. And that just compounds the problem. And it's not like one of my friends was like, yeah, but I just don't feel like I've learned the lesson unless I get really upset and angry with myself. And I'm like, really? You have a dent in your car you have to fix. You have to pay for that. You don't think that's enough of a lesson? Right? So
you just have to just a digression. I have to say, my dad, he has a Toyota Hiace, big ass car. You put that never die, and you put it goes forever, and you could put all your stuff in it. It had rooms for everything. And I was driving on one of the mountain roads here in Norway, and it was snowing, and a Tesla hit him in the back. A Tesla hit a Hiace.
Yeah, it didn't really cost that Hiace driver very much money.
But it cost the Tesla drivers a lot of money, because that tiny dent on the, because it was the door in the back, 20,000 crowns, 200 euros.
Damn. That's not, the Tesla though, how much did that cost?
Well, I do not know, because the Tesla had to pay for the Hiace, and I just know about the Hiace.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Don't you think that Tesla owner understood, although it's a Hiace in front of you, don't drive too close.
Yes, exactly.
It cost you at least 20,000 or 200 euros.
Yeah, minimum. If you didn't fix your own car. Right? So you don't have to get angry and upset with yourself. And it was really interesting because I was visiting my colleague in Bergen, the big city, that I had sent this wonderful person to be followed up. And weirdly enough, I went there to have lunch, and she was there. She was his last patient before lunch, and he was on the 4th floor. And on the ground floor, there was a hair salon, basically, and they had storage in the back. And then they had to walk out into the hallway and go to the storage and pull stuff out, and then walk back into the salon. And that'll be important in a moment. It was in front of the elevator. So I got to be there with beautiful Ragna, and she was getting adjusted, and everybody was happy, and I was happy, and I actually was in the treatment room with them, and we were talking, and she was getting adjusted, and just catching up a little bit. And then it was lunchtime, so she went out, and I gave her a big hug. and she got in the elevator. And my friend was closing up the clinic for lunch and all that stuff. And I was, getting ready to go. And then suddenly there's Agna again, comes back up in the elevator with one of the hairstylists. And she's like, yeah, we had an accident. Here she is. And I'm like, what? And she just kind of looked at me like with these big eyes. And she kind of limped over to me. And I'm like, I could see that like you're walking, but you shouldn't be walking. What the hell's going on? And I mean, we're talking, she's quite fit for being her age. And I sat her down on a chair, and then of course the hairstylist just disappeared. And I grabbed her elbow and it was loose. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's like a hinge in the middle of her arm, like her upper arm, her humerus was broken. And like broken, like her arm was hanging. And then I was like, oh my God. And I looked down and I touched her thigh and I could feel the bone. So she broke her femur.
Lårbeinet.
Yeah, lårbeinet, basically her thigh bone. Thigh bone connected to the hip bone and all that. Mm-hmm. Well, it was broken as well. And of course I was like, damn it, they brought her back upstairs because now we're going to have to get an ambulance and get her downstairs. So they should have just like kept her where she don't move a person who just hurt themselves.
The hairstylist panicked.
They probably picked her up, and put her in the elevator and took her upstairs. And anyway, I sat with her until the ambulance came and I just said, I'm so sorry this happened. And she said, well, it's kind of weird because I survived the winter in Norway because it's icy. And she said, and they never sand outside my house on the road there. So I got to my car and I was able to do all my shopping all winter long and it didn't fall. It's the middle of the summer, Jason, and somebody dropped a container of hair gel in the hallway and I slipped and fell.
That thing's super slippery.
Yeah. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like you're 104. You got through the winter, and that's a big thing in Norway. And then what happens? Somebody screws up. You end up breaking your thigh and your arm. And she said, but she laughed and she said, well, that happened. And that was it. She just kind of had to like laugh at the ridiculousness of the situation. And she didn't complain about it. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. It's just what it is. So could you also call my son? So I called the son up, and weirdly enough, the son was very close. So he came in and he was of course very attentive to her and quite old, by the way.
Yeah, of course she's 104, so yeah. He's like 84.
Yeah, at least.
If she was 20, so between 70 and 84, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, damn, So he was actually quite healthy himself, but we got her downstairs by the time the ambulance came, and we had a little gurney thing and we carried her down the stairs, and the ambulance guy came to save them a little bit of work, and they got her into the ambulance, and she just said, thank you so much for everything you did for me. Thank you. And I said, well, I'll be seeing you again, right? And she said, no. She said, when you're my age and you go to the hospital, you're done as a human being. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was so interesting to see how calm she was and how relaxed. She was like, that's what this is, now I'm done. So thank you so much. And she went out with so much appreciation and love for me. And again, you meet these special people, and when you see a person walk towards the death and be that calm and that together and that clear, it's very powerful. It's a very powerful thing. And I realized that that's a woman who's seen a lot of life and death.
And you're 104. You kind of had lost everyone around you. So
yeah,
it's kind of...
Yeah, think about it. Nobody you went to school with is alive.
Maybe a kid has gone.
Yeah.
When you're 104 and... I don't know, life expectancy is around 80.
Yeah. You've lost some of your children. You've lost some of your grandchildren. Not everybody grows up, right? I mean, we're talking, and she had 64 living.
She's seen 2 world wars.
Yes, she's seen 2 world wars, yeah. Think about that. That's amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of life in one person's eyes and one person's mind and hands. It's crazy. So, putting things in perspective as your level of experience and your level of consciousness change, the way you look at things, your perception, and the way things are change. So just like in this, the Northmen in our Hamlet knockoff Viking version, where the way he perceived things as a child was completely different than the way the adults in the room perceived things.
Mm-hmm. He experienced love. They experienced politics.
Yeah, politics and hate and revenge and all kinds of weird stuff, right? Where he saw revenge and hate, it was actually a love story, which is also kind of bizarre.
Yeah, very, very, yeah.
And then we get back to this whole thing, depending on what side of the story you're on, where you are in your life, but also where you are in the story, things are either good or bad. So does that actually make them good or bad, or is everything just a perspective?
It's a perspective thing.
It's such a weird thing, right? So watch The Northman. You'll be shocked, horrified, impressed, and you'll go, that's bad parenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to come out at least a couple times. If it doesn't, send us an email.
Yes. Marit at integrated-human.com.
Yes, that's it. I didn't say it.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting movie, but it's I think it's especially when it comes to death, people I don't know, fear it maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most people are terrified.
I don't know. I don't have any big thoughts on it. Yeah. Well, this is the one thing that's for sure, kind of.
Yeah.
And I think I have more issue with people around me dying than me dying myself. I'm like, okay. Fine.
Well, then your job's over.
Yeah, but I don't have I think it's much more horrible for the people around the person often than the person itself.
Yeah.
Like you're 104. Like I say, you can do whatever you want if you want to.
If you want to go, you want to die.
If you want to go, then go.
That's it.
You're 104, but it's harder for the people around you too. Like we talked about in the podcast during Christmas that you have hopes and thoughts and ideas and for what you guys were going to do or that person were going to do, and all that disappears when that person disappears.
Yeah, absolutely. All those roads are tied up. That's interesting. Yeah, so 104. And the question is it always a good thing to become old? In her case, it was, but a lot of people maybe have finished what they're supposed to be doing here. We don't usually talk about esoteric stuff and
we don't go too far into it, but
no.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah, see how many shock
waves we're gonna send.
Exactly. Well, one of my friends, he had pancreas cancer, and if you guys know what that is, it's horrible. It's a very fast way to die. And when it comes to cancers, because you basically generally last about 4 or 5 months. I mean, it's heavy. It's really heavy. Your body basically digests itself from the inside.
Ew. It's
disgusting. They put like these tubes in you and your guts just run out because the enzymes that your pancreas makes, it's your bukspyttkjertel. And if you guys, let me just say that Norwegian is a very simple language. It's a beautiful language, but it's very simple. So your pancreas in Norwegian, if you translate it directly, is called your belly spit gland. It's quite the organ. But anyway, it creates these enzymes that break down meat. Right? So what do you think happens when that goes crazy inside you? Yeah, it melts you.
Yeah.
So then your guts are hanging, or they basically are liquefying and being drained by a tube.
Yeah,
and
you die fast, okay?
It's nasty.
It's not,
and it's very painful.
Yeah.
So
I have a vivid imagination. You die quickly.
Yes, you die pretty quickly, plus minus with cancer.
Yeah, it's still cancer.
It's still cancer, so it takes months, but it's still, it's brutal. And you go from being like, I don't know, maybe 85 kilos, 185 pounds, and then you're suddenly half that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's nasty. And I had this strong feeling at work. At that time, I was working insanely much. Like I was starting with my first patient a 5:15 in the morning and working until 10 at night. I was really working hard. So I didn't really have the energy or time to be social at all. And I hadn't seen my friend for a while. I knew he was sick, and I had some conversations with him and visited with the family and stuff. But, it was a crazy time. And I had the strong feeling that I had to go up there and talk to him. Like I really did. So I basically had planned that I was going to have off early on the Friday. And I did that. So we programmed it so that we could drive from work at like 6 o'clock and get there for the visiting times. So we did that, and we went up there and talked to him. And he just said, don't know anything. Just don't know. And that's interesting, because when you are at a place where you're truly centered in yourself and you're present, it's all about the moment, and you don't need to know what's up. It's just you're in the present moment, and the mind is not bothering you. The mind's not messing with you. It's just silent, and you just don't know. And you're okay with not knowing.
Yeah, there's nothing to know.
There's nothing to know.
It is what it is.
It just is what it is. Yeah, he's in this situation, and it's so intense, and it's so much, and he just doesn't know. And we talked a little bit about kids and all that stuff, and I just had this feeling that was the last time I was going to see him. Didn't know, but I went home.
Often get those feelings.
Yeah, you get those feelings, right? So I went home, and I went to sleep, and then I woke up around 12:15 at night, midnight, and I just had this burning in my stomach, super burning, my chest, stomach, just heart, my lungs, and my belly spit gland, my pancreas. I was just like, wow, whoa. I didn't eat any Indian food or super spicy food or something like that. I don't know what's going on with me. And I just couldn't, I had to get up. And I went downstairs so I didn't wake up Steve, and I was walking around in the living room, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on with me? And then I sat down and I closed my eyes to see if I could just, go inside and work with it. And I just saw my friend. And it was such a strong visual image. It was so bright in my mind. And I opened my eyes and I closed my eyes, and it was just like, it was so much light. And I suddenly realized that there was something up there, and he showed me, all of the moments of love that he had in his life, when he met his wife and when his children were born, and when he got his first car, when he was hanging out with his brother, everything was awesome. And I realized that every single moment, every highlight in his life was connected at that moment, and he was sharing that with me. And then he was gone. And just then I got the message on my mobile phone, because my mobile phone was next to me. His wife sent me the message that he had passed. And what I realized at that moment was that when we die, we fall into an ocean of those moments of love that we've had during our life.
Then my question is, do you think that's the same for everybody?
Yeah, that's the same. The problem is that if you don't have very much love in your life,
that's the point.
Then it's a little fucked up. So my question to you guys that are listening to us, do you want to make love in your life? Or do you want to make hate and jealousy and all the other stuff? What vibration will dominate the encounters you have in your life?
Do you feed on being angry and having hate and
exactly?
Or is it better to just let things go and accept those?
Exactly.
You can't change. Like I said, and this is the you see it in all these yoga pants kind of quotes, like, you have the power to change who you are. you know. But it's true.
Yeah, that's
My
actually
problem
true.
is just with the people saying it.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
Because
but
those
it's,
people really haven't changed. They just change outfits. They
yeah,
haven't
you have
changed
to
themselves.
really
Yeah.
change that too,
Yeah.
because I think if you really work on, and we see that so much. I see, like, Siv has this trauma releasing TRE group with this trauma releasing exercises. We use them quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it just used to match. I like using them because of the ritual around it, because
Yeah.
I feel that that's so powerful. But you can really see, and we see the people that have joined our meditation groups and that joined the Integrated Human, people that start working on themselves to evolve themselves, not to change their parents, not to change their spouses, not to change their children, but they are changing and they are leveling up everywhere, and the people around them are leveling up.
Absolutely.
And I would imagine maybe they are, talk to some of them, they are some people that are vibrating on a lower frequency, as we say. They don't want to be, themselves wants to be with them, but they don't want to be with them anymore because they are high, they are vibrating much higher.
Yeah.
And they can't meet that necessarily.
Yeah. And they will
because
even
they feed on their anger or
frustration or jealousy or whatever it is.
they
Yeah.
have.
Envy. Yeah. Exactly.
And then when you then level up, maybe they don't want to join you there because they are, what you know is where you want to be.
Yeah,
Although it's suffering, you actually would like to be there because suffering is better than change.
It's knowable.
It's knowable. And then you say, no, I would never change. No, I would never do that because, of course, I don't want to be angry. Well, talking from experience, you choose anger because you know anger. But then you have to burn through anger to get to the other side.
Exactly.
That's a very unpleasant experience. And it hurts because you can actually feel the anger inside.
Yeah, that's it.
And if you have started to work on yourself, you will feel some of this, and I think that's so important that we start doing.
Yeah.
And then I think you can meet when you 104 and you slip on shampoo or balm in the hallway and you break your thigh and your arm, and then you can kind of accept that was that.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can accept that this was what I had here now.
Yeah.
But if you fill your life with not love, let's say that, then I think it's much harder.
It's much harder.
Because what's incredible with both these stories, and you knew both of them, is that they don't blame anyone or shame anyone or for what's happened to them.
Yeah, there was no being angry at the lady she was just some poor beginner hairstystylist who made a mistake and didn't clean it up fast
and even
enough.
if you clean it up,
yeah,
like
it's
if
still
you think,
slick.
because I think I think that it's like tiles.
Yeah, they're tiles.
And even if you wash that off, because it's the shampoo and hair stuff, they have some stuff in it.
Yeah.
They makes it extremely slippery.
It does.
It's kind of if you have like tiles at home, it's something if you wash your hair, and it runs into the drain. But if you lose shampoo, you can slip on that thing.
Oh yeah, you can.
Even when you try to wash it, and what's even worse is that when it's tried to clean up, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So you can't brace.
No, you can't.
You really just slip on it, right?
You go. And bam, it happens.
So she didn't have any...
And no anger. It was just what it was. Like the lady did what she could.
What's she gonna do? You have like 2 windpipe stick. No, not windpipes. 2 bone pipe stick.
Yeah,
sorry,
it was crazy.
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty.
Hopefully
pretty
not
intense.
painful, and then you just have to. Okay, that's what that was.
Yeah, that's what that was. So and to meet it like say, oh, be brave, meet it like a hero, But it's not about that, because that's again a reaction or a counter reaction to something. It's just being at peace. She was at peace. She was like, okay, it hurts, but guess what? Going there, I'll get some pain medication, but now most likely this is what's going to happen. So see ya.
And then coming back to the good and bad parenting stuff, I think that just being at peace with what happens, if that is you have to stand in a line with a car in Easter, like I saw was a extreme long line between Bergen and Voss the other day, or if it's you break a leg or whatever, show your kids how to react to stuff,
How to handle.
and they will handle stuff the way you are handling stuff, because they're like sponges. They are, and that's one of the reasons I'm myself very happy I don't have a kid yet, because I said I have so much. I'm not, and I could have, but I have so much stuff I want to work out for myself first, that I think it would be unfair both for me and the kid to have one right now.
To be quite honest with you, you're going to be an absolutely over-the-top fantastic mom.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, but there's a thing. What you just said there was genius. You actually thought about how you are before you have a kid. Most people are having kids completely unplanned and out of context. Most people went to that party and got pregnant. Oh, I guess we're having a third kid or a fourth kid, or, oh God, I guess what, I'm pregnant. What? Oh shit, we were going to break up. Oh, but now you're pregnant. You know, it's like the life is.
Some just loves having kids.
Yeah, that's it. And some, of course. Yeah. But very many people don't walk into it conscious of themselves in that role. But you are.
And I have seen some moms that have had kids and they have small kids now, and they are working now, and I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I feel it's hard when I don't have kids, and it's but you have kids and you're still actually doing it. It's so impressive. I'm so impressed by the way they're working, and they're working with it. They're not going kind of, see ya. They're kind of, they're working with the kid.
They're using the child as an evolutionary device.
Yeah, and they do it for themselves to really, like I said, the way you respond to stuff is the way your kid's going to respond to stuff. And they don't want the kids to have their bad habits. And then you know what your bad habits are. Like, really.
People should, but that's not always, I mean.
Yeah, but really, we can, if I say something good about yourself, you can say one thing. I said, tell something you could be better at. You can say 10.
Yeah, of course.
So you have some bad habits, but they're really working. And to work through that, I think it's so important, because if you could meet stuff in peace and not react to everything around you, being angry or slamming a door, or you're looking for something, and then instead of just breathe, I can't find it, okay, you just go and throw stuff around.
Yeah.
Because you can't find it, so you're just going to throw stuff around. Well, then you're not going to clean it up. Like, you know? Yeah. I think that's so important that we start looking at for ourselves.
Yeah, because, just like, they've found out that children who have parents that are active when they grow up as an adult. Children who have parents that watch them do sports and aren't active themselves, when those children become adults, aren't active.
Of
because
course not.
They do what they see.
They're active as children, so their children will start gymnastics or soccer or handball or skiing. Yeah. But they will sit on the sideline watching, instead of, well, actually, my kid has kindergarten or school, and then an hour or 1.5 hours during afternoon, another parent are responsible for my kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Use that time, parents.
Yes, absolutely.
Do something. So if your parents are in jiu-jitsu class, go for a walk.
Yeah, or if your kids are in the jiu-jitsu class.
If you're just in kids in the jiu-jitsu class,
kids, don't leave your parents.
Don't leave it. But go for a walk, jog, do some strength exercises, do something. Yeah,
be active yourself. I actually had a patient that came in, a lady. I think she was 50.
We talked about her before, I think.
Yeah, amazing person. Man, this lady, she had straight up 6-pack abs, man. She was amazingly fit. And I'm just like, I have to ask you what your secret is. And it was the fact that her children, she had 2 daughters, and both of them were elite athletes doing handball. And she said, to be quite honest, I'm in better shape than my kids, even though they're elite athletes, because they train an hour each. I train for 2 hours because I have 2 daughters. Mm-hmm. So when one's finished with training, they hang out. I go train. I train during both of their training sessions.
Of course, you're still there. It's an hour. That's kind of like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, what else are you going to do? And she had 2 hours every evening.
Scroll your phone? Really?
Right? Exactly. That's the whole point. Eat cookies, smoke cigarettes, whatever people are doing. I don't know. But the point is that, showing your children emotional resilience, recovery, physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual recovery from the things that are happening.
That's good parenting.
That's good parenting, right? You will not see that in the Northmen.
No.
So little recovery, so not right action. It's just going to be amazing. Please send us your reaction to the movie. Yes. We would love to hear it. I'll read it out. Yep. Shout out to the people, Yes.
But I think it's exactly that we have to start looking at that.
Yes.
Really looking at that.
Yeah, because at least a third of everybody's waking up is recovering from their mothers and fathers and teachers and preachers. So why don't you try to be a better mother and father and teacher and preacher? So the people have a shorter way to finding themselves and being amazing in their lives.
And saying that you have to be emotionally resilient doesn't mean that you're not showing them emotions.
No,
it's more that you're showing that you're dealing with it. That when you can't find your stuff, that you don't throw everything out in the living room because you can't find it.
Yeah.
But that you catch yourself, and you can even say to them, because if they don't understand what now I'm a little bit frustrated because I can't find that stuff, but I just have to, Mama's going to breathe now. She's going to find it.
Yeah.
And can you help me find it? If you can't find it, well, then the I don't know, the Santa took it or something.
Santa's right?
Well, you have to
exactly.
because then okay, I can't find that stuff. Let it go.
Exactly.
I can't find it.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna find it later.
Yeah, exactly.
And to show that, and to show that you have the spectrum, and show them that you are dealing with it.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're gonna deal with it.
Exactly.
If you're having a shit fit.
Yeah.
They will have a shit fit.
Exactly. And that's really the thing, because there's this amazing balance, because you need to show the children your emotional range. You need to show them that you will get affected. You need to show them, but how you show them is important.
Because usually we show them without us actually knowing that we show them.
Exactly.
Because do you think that you were thinking that you were showing anger when you threw everything out in the living room because you couldn't find that one thing?
Mm.
No, you didn't think about or that thing in the car that you couldn't find, and you just started throwing off the whole vacation package you had packed in your car,
or hitting your car with a broom handle.
Yeah,
yeah.
You didn't. You were so caught up in whatever emotion you had that you just did that thing. You slammed the door. You said the bad words. You did the thing, and they saw it.
Yes.
So it's not that you're not showing it already. It's just that you're not aware that you're showing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So to be aware that you kind of take yourself in hitting the car with the broomstick.
Oh, I'll tell you the story.
Yes. So you're showing them that you're about to hit the car with the broomstick. Take it just before you hit the car, because it's going to cost you 20,000 crowns, 2,000 euros. Take it back, breathe, and say to your kids, I'm a little bit angry now.
Yes, exactly.
I can't find that stuff.
Yeah.
Do something and you can make it a little bit fun, and then you're not that angry anymore, and you can see the ridiculousness in hitting your car with a broomstick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the broomstick story it's definitely worth telling.
We have time for it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is going to be worth your time. So I'm at university. All right. And I wake up in the morning to bam, bam, bam. Ah, bam, 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 bam. Ah, and I'm like, what in the world? And this is an Iowa winter. If you've never been to Iowa in the winter, it is cold. It gets to be 40 degrees below 0 Celsius in the worst winters. And people are like, well, what's that in Fahrenheit? Well, it's also 40 degrees below 0 in Fahrenheit. That's where the two scales, Celsius and Fahrenheit, meet. So 40 below is 40 below, friends. That's cold. And it wasn't quite that cold then, but it was very cold. It was like maybe, I don't know, probably about 20 degrees below 0 Celsius. And I just look out the window, and this giant dude is just beating the crap out of his car with a broom handle and breaks the broom handle. And I run out. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, is it his car even? I don't know what the hell's going on. So I go out there and I'm like, hey, are you okay? Do you need help? you know, instead of immediately, by the way, saying, hey, you better stop doing that or whatever. I'm just like, hey, do you need help? And he's like, what do you mean help? And I'm like, well, you're obviously hitting your car with a broom handle, or is it even your car? No, it's my car. I can do what I want. Of course you can. And I walked over and I'm like,
even worse when you aren't car, then you definitely need to pay for it.
Then you definitely need to pay for it, and you definitely need help. I'm like, so I walk over and I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? And he's just like, and I'm like, what is it? And he said, I just figured out. I'm like, what? My name is Jerker. And I'm like, what? You see, this guy's from Sweden. And his name in Swedish is Jerker, which is a very nice, very noble name.
Yeah, it's like it's a name of a king.
That's it. That's a king's name. You know, so he goes from Sweden, where his name is basically the name of a king, to the U.S., where his name is Jerker. Jerker Johansson. That shout out to you if you're listening to the podcast. I love you, bro. And he was freaking out because, of course, Jerker, you know what that means, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not good.
No. Well,
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's not what you want to name your kid.
It's not what you want to name a kid.
And I'm like, your name's Jerker? And he's like, no, it's Jerker. And I'm like, didn't your mom love you? Like, again, bad parenting.
Bad parenting.
Like, didn't your mom love you? And he's like, oh, in Swedish, it's a nice name. You know, he was so upset. And I'm like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And he's like, what do you mean? What are we going to do? I'm like, okay, we have to think about this. What are we going to do? And I said, you know what? You just tell people your name is Jack. You know? And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, man. Americans can't pronounce your name anyway. Jerker, come on. Why don't you just tell them that your name's Jack? Wouldn't that be much easier?
It's just written differently because it's Swedish.
Exactly. And he was like, I think I could do that. And I'm like, yeah, I think you should. I think you should. So the whole point is your life may be sometimes turbulent, but at least your name's not Jerker. All right.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Yes.
So love on your mama.
Love on your mama.
Love on your papa. Love on your teachers.
And love on your preachers.
That's it.
Yes. And if you are one of them, be a better one.
Be a better one.
And if you don't know if you, it's pretty, well, you should know if you're mom or dad.
You should know,
but
some don't.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
But if you, most likely you also are a teacher and a preacher without knowing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you are affecting more people than you think you are affecting.
Always. You never know how far-reaching your words and actions of today will be on the people and places and things of tomorrow.
And you never know who's looking up to you and what they are looking at. So be aware. And that's why you need to come to the meditation event.
That's it. Come to the meditation event to help yourself become more conscious.
We're having the like introduction there is we're having the meditation event in Voss.
Yes.
28th.
The last one was sold out.
Yes. But it's the 28th to 29th of May.
Yep.
It's a 2-day one. We're going to focus on meditation in when you actually are moving.
Yes. We're standing, walking, laying down and sitting.
So we're gonna, because a lot of us think that you have to meditate. With some of the things that we broke through in the last one was that you have to sit to meditate, and you have to have your yoga room, and you have to have this
candles and incense
and all that, which you don't have to have.
No.
So in this one, we are breaking that even more up. We are actually moving out because it's sunny, hopefully. If not, bring clothes that you can be outside in. Yes. But we're breaking that up a little bit, and we are showing just the different aspects of it. And but what's actually most important with it is that we are meditating together.
Yes. Very powerful.
For my own sake, I don't care if I'm standing or walking or dancing or what we are, but that we are a group doing it because it's something incredible with, first of all, putting the time up to do it. Because even that I love meditating, I don't do it enough because I don't put the time in to do it. It's not as scheduled as my training. It should be. So these weekends really gives you the opportunity to sit down and do that thing. You're going to have a guide, so you're not doing it alone. It's not like you have to look at the watch and figure out how long time you've been in. We take care of all that. You're going to just come and be who you are And the only thing that's required is that you are present with us there.
That's it.
Don't take on your phone. Come, just be there.
Yeah.
And then follow what's said.
That's it.
And that is the best thing. And if you haven't meditated in a group, and if you've meditated some, you have just gotten a taste of it.
Yeah.
Because it's something incredible. And with having this meditation event and you showing up, it really helps us grow the community, grow the meditation field that we have. And I really hope to see some new faces there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you think meditation is not for you, I was one of you guys. You, my brothers and sisters. It is most for us.
Yeah, it is. That's it. It's awesome. And it changes the way you experience things. It changes the way you deal with the challenges that you have. It also gives you more resources in order to become resilient and recover faster. And we've broken the box for so many people with meditation courses through the years. And now recently we're opening it up in the format of the integrated human, and people are loving it. So hop on.
Yes. And if you want to, like we talk about Ragna, and there was 104.
Yeah.
And went to hospital and said her goodbyes there, or Jason's lovely friend that unfortunately got pancreas cancer. If you want to end your life in that loving way, do something about it now.
Which means be more loving every day. So remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.